I would like to procure the bag.
I wanna be a rich bitch. Penthouse doorman, money, 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 rich bitch. Hey, give me that bag. Rich bitch.
Yes, you're so rich.
Pay me.
Hit it.
Recording in progress. I'm
Oh my
I'm
God,
sitting at
the
my desk.
warning.
We've never recorded something at this time of day, and so like the sun is like this is me sitting in the center of my
Oh
desk
my
right
God,
here.
yeah,
It is
what?
in my face. So I'm skewing myself over here to the side of my desk so I don't look like a washed out
Get
sausage.
skewed. Get skewed. Do it. Skewer us.
How are you?
Oh
How's
my
your day been?
gosh.
You've been striking and doing all the things.
I am,
She's
shall we
freshly
say,
showered.
exhausted, but fresh. Yeah, I am so tired, y'all. Today was great though. We had so many people come out because I try to announce on social media when I'm captaining, and we had a lot of people show up to be like, "Oh shit, it's the lit picket today, baby." And
Yes.
so yeah, so
New York's
I've
hottest
become
nightclub.
yes, that's my slogan. New York's hottest club is in between 33rd and 32nd Street on 10th Avenue before 12 noon. Yes.
We love.
We love. Well, you know what? Depending on how this goes today with them, maybe I won't be doing it again. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a very teetering kind of time for that whole
It is.
situation.
Yeah, I feel like there's something about right now that's so strangely volatile and unpredictable about so many things, whether it's stuff in the world, things in the labor movement, things in our lives. I feel like there's a lot of a lot of changes, a lot
There
of
really
like
is. I think we're definitely like on a very like global scale shifty changey kind of moment where I think the continuing of the taking stock and looking at our lives and our choices and all the things and being like, you know what? No. And that's the most powerful thing that any of us can do is just to say no and change.
just
make changes.
say no.
But
yeah, I have a meeting later today and I just don't want to do it. So I'm probably going to cancel it.
She's a ghoster.
Because I just feel I'm a ghoster. No. I would absolutely share. I never ghost, but I do think that if you have a lot going on and you're busy and you're trying to fit everything in, we also have like 3 groups of friends visiting this weekend that we're trying to see.
Goodness.
And you know how it is. You're trying to organize what's going on.
I understand. I have 3 more days as of today. Today is Friday, November 3rd, that we are at the time of recording. I have 3 more days until I start my official new job, everyone. Those who have been following along, I did it. Those who have been following along know that I have been searching and searching for for a home. An employment home for quite some time. And I finally landed one. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to keep that pretty under cuff because of what it is, but I'm excited and I'm so grateful and I cannot wait. Honestly, like I've never really been all that excited to start a new job. There's something about this one that just feels exciting because it's a new venture for this company and I get to be a part of that, which I love. And I'm going to go shopping later today and buy some new office attire.
I love that. What are you going to get? What's your key pieces? Like, what are you looking for?
I mean, everything. Because I've been temping and I'm not in office that often, and all offices have different dress codes. So like some offices I can get away with like jeans and a polo or a sweater or something. This particular office is more traditional in like the dress pants and shirt kind of thing.
Got it.
And I only have 1 pair of dress pants. So like from a suit, I bought a suit and then I just like, whatever. So I need to go out and get more of everything.
Yeah, get it all.
Shirts and pants, really. I'm going to keep it basic, like just solid colors or a light pattern.
A nice pastel.
Yeah, we're going to stop down at the men's warehouse, which I loathe most of the time. And we're going to check out the DXL store and see what their professional attire.
What's DXL?
It's it's a big and tall store, but it's not garbage. Like I'm traumatized from like Rochester big and tall days where like I had to go as a kid and like everything looked like it belonged on a 70-year-old man. And
No.
it's definitely changed. Rochester Big and Tall can RIP and fuck off for all I care. But like it's definitely gotten better. I think like there's
Not a
definitely
sponsor.
not a sponsor and never will be because they don't exist anymore
I
as
know,
far as
but there
as far
never
as
will
I
be.
know.
Never loved you. Yeah.
Yeah, but DXL, my friend Zach, is one of the models for them. He's a Big and Tall. He was the Zach Miko. He's the shout out to him. We love him. He is the official, according to the internet, first supermodel plus size male model.
Work.
We love him. It's so
Love
funny.
that.
It's so funny. The world that he travels and kind of moves in is a bunch of friends. Like his agent was
Yeah.
one of my first friends in New York City, and which is so wild to me. Josh, like just one of the best people I've ever met, cracks me up to death all the time.
Hmm.
Um, I met him summer 2005, and it was a mess and a nightmare from there. um
Wow.
I know he doesn't live in the city anymore. We don't talk as much, but he's head of the agency that Zach is part of. And so like making those connections as like watching Zach's career happen and everything was like, oh my God, I know those people. Oh my God, I know those people.
It is interesting too, like if you've been alive enough and out there enough, because we were out there very young,
Yeah,
we were out there.
in
We
them
went from like
streets.
in them streets. We went from like, hi, I'm with my parents. Nope, I'm in New York. Bye. Like we were like, hello,
Yeah,
goodbye.
rip the band-aid
And
off.
rip the bandit off. Let's just go. I don't have time to waste time. And I feel like there's a lot of people that we came up with together and we've seen the different avenues they've taken. And it's actually really interesting and cool. And it's great that like everyone's kind of found their place or finding their place. It's just really fun to watch. And I'm always
Yeah,
like
well, and
happy for my friends,
same. And also because sometimes that path is not the path that you set out on. Like
No.
I'm certainly not on the path that I set out on.
Yeah.
But I like this one better. And I was just talking about this the other day with a friend of mine. I was walking around the city, and we were talking about how when we were little baby musical theater gays auditioning and we saw people
Hmm.
in their 30s like drop off and quit, and we were
Yeah.
so indignant of that. We were just like, ugh, of course they're never going to make it. They quit. They just walked away from everything. I'm never going to quit because the
From
longer
everything.
you're here, the less people of your type there are, and then you just become the it boy. And like there's something to that, of
Sure.
course. But like dreams change, and like that's kind of one of the
Yeah.
reasons. I think we've talked about this before, but it's one of the reasons that I hate the whole like living the dream, like the sarcastic, usage of that terminology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the dream changes, and it's okay for the dream to change. And I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of theater people, especially, I don't know about, I probably TV film people as well, but like
Mm.
being this person that like left the cornfield and came to the big bad apple to pursue entertainment. It's like you're the Broadway guy. Like, oh, you left to
Hmm.
go be on Broadway. Have you been on Broadway? And it becomes
Yeah.
so much of who you are and your identity with the people back home. Not that I give a shit about any of them, but like at least to this degree,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I feel detached from what I thought I wanted to do.
Right.
um I don't
Right.
feel badly about not making it. There's this really great post that's going around by this theater educator, I believe, named Don, and he kind of broke down the Sweeney Todd casting and how it's just like this, it's I'll pull it up later and talk about it, but it's so on the nose with why I left that industry, why I left
Right.
theater, because it's just this let me pull it up real quick. It's
Yeah.
this kind of illustration of what has happened to the industry recently, and
Right.
even more so to the point that like, where is it? It's literally everywhere, all over Facebook and the internet right now, because it
Well,
is.
while you're looking that up, I just want to like kind of co-sign too. It's like, some of us, like I actually have stayed in the industry that I came to be in, but I did it a little differently than what I thought, right? So it's like even staying in the industry, as an actor predominantly, which was my goal, and to be respected by my peers and to be in a union and to be in the academy and to have a show that was picked up. I've done all that. But I
Yeah,
think that there's always still the thing is, even when you do kind of do the thing that you set out to do, like there's so much more I want to do. I'm not
right.
satisfied. I want to do this. I want to do that. So even if you like, so quote unquote, go for it, like, and you feel like you've maybe made it in some way, I still feel like it's like you still haven't. Like, you still have so much to do. We have still so much to do in the
Yeah.
best way.
Yeah. Well,
And
and I also think the still have so much to do thing is relative to the person. Do they still want
right,
to do that? Like, again,
right,
you can make it on any level and the dream can change. I think like
exactly.
the girl who played Winnie in The Wonder Years, like she's not an actress anymore. She teaches
No,
math.
scientist. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a
like
scientist,
she's
straight up.
brilliant. Or like Julia Stiles. Like I don't
Oh
know
my God,
I
yeah.
don't know what she's doing anymore, but like I know she left the biz and she has like a corporate regular like people human job that
Yeah,
is not Hollywood. So
yeah.
it's okay
There's
for the
just so
dream
many
to
ways.
change. There's so many
Yeah,
ways.
and there's so many ways, even within the quote unquote, I hate Hollywood sphere because I think it's more like the TV, the creative sphere. I think there's a lot of different outlets like we're doing, like what me and you are doing together, like the podcast, like, there's just so many ways to make your own path. And like, that is to me the key of being a rich bitch. It's not just like, oh, hey, let me just try to follow this formula that everyone's doing. It's like, what is calling to you? What makes you feel the best? And if something doesn't make you feel great as you're doing it, then why are we doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I did find this post, and the one thing that I just
Cool.
want to say is that they only want one physical type, one voice type. The bland, homogenized competence is all, and authenticity
Mm,
is dead. And I mean, that's true. In an earlier version of the pitch deck for Sickening that we're doing,
mhm.
spoiler alert, uh we had that one page where I said I don't want to cast stars for the leads because of this reason. The same 10 people get hired
Yeah,
for everything, and that's certainly coming from a theater point of view, because the same
sure.
10 people are in the same shows all the time and it's fucking boring. And
So weird.
that's why I felt compelled to say that. But that post right there by this guy John Windsor, shout out to
Mhm.
him and the near 1,000 people who have shared this post on Facebook and other
Work.
social
Okay.
media platforms. um that we're bored to death
Mhm.
of what
Mhm.
commercial theater is doing. And
Right.
it again is one of the reasons I left the industry. And I'm looking back at people in their 30s that I looked down on for doing so. I think subconsciously owe them an apology because I get it.
Uh-huh. No, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, also, how do we know what someone's going through
Of
ever?
course.
It's like, and we just assume when we were young, 20 somethings, we're still young, by the way. We look amazing. But,
Amazing.
when I was like 10 in the city, um, yeah, it's easy for us to have an opinion about everyone's journey, especially in a very cutthroat, hardcore, crazy industry that we find ourselves in a lot of the times. I just think it's like, yeah, it's not hindsight is 2020. Everyone's journey is so different. I
Yeah.
mean, there's people that I came out up with, especially like in my NYU, film intense place. And there's people like that came out of that program, like Rachel Brosnahan. There's people like, Miles Teller and then there's people that like I thought were going to be like the ones. And then they're like, nah, fuck this. I don't want to do this. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, weird. And then I'm like, oh, good for you. Like, look at you having a
Yeah.
normal life and being
What
amazing.
and I think for me, the way that you're doing things is perfect. I think
Oh,
it's because
stop.
you're no, but really though, like I seriously and genuinely very much look up to you for the way that you've done this, because to me that's what I want to do, and I like moving forward want to model my journey after you. Because you are able to have so much agency and power and say over how you maneuver through the industry, because the
Yeah.
things that you've done have been yours and they have gotten you work, instead of, oh,
Yeah.
if I just book this one job, I can then do that. Like, no, it's the other way around. Do the thing for yourself first, and
Yeah.
tell people what you want and who you are. um but yeah, so
Thank you.
that's like, yeah, I don't know. I could shit on the theater industry all day, every day, and I just don't want to do that. I would
Just
love
talk
to.
about how much you love me. That's
I will.
all.
Let's
Just,
let's make this a Sarah Seed Stand
no, no.
podcast episode.
It's fine. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
but
I'm good.
but but
No,
we
yeah,
have seen each other in person. I know that there's a lot of
a
speculation because we're
bunch.
always on Zoom.
I know.
that we don't actually see each other in person, and we're so bad at like taking pictures and doing the whole like
I know.
let's make content out of us hanging out because we just don't do it.
Because we're such a good time.
Yeah, but
Also, I feel like we do because the last time we met up, we had made 2 episodes, which will come out before this, and that proves we were together.
well, one of them was already out. Yes, I agree for sure.
Yeah.
But I just
Well,
mean
by the
like
time this comes out, they'll both have come out.
they'll both
right?
have come out, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I think what I mean is like, you know, our Halloween night, we spent
Oh,
some
yeah.
time at your place, listener. We spent some time at Sarah's place with her boyfriend, her friend Michael,
Yes.
and we watched horror
Yeah.
movies, which is what our Halloween
Yeah.
episode was about how I don't know horror movies, I don't do horror movies. And you know, Michael and, and Sarah really ripped the band-aid off of that one.
We really did.
We
Yeah.
really did. We really did. Although, what
Did
was
you
the
enjoy the process? Did you like it?
I did. I feel like The Conjuring. Okay, so what we watched
Let's
was
go into it. Yeah.
let's go into it. We watched The Conjuring and we watched The
Mhm.
Shining. And then in
Yes,
between
God.
we had these insane palate cleansers that were what was it? It was Garth Marenghi.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Yeah, it's a
Like, just
British stupid fucking show. The
just
best
so
stupid. It's so dumb. It's
I love it.
wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. I
Spectacular.
I literally turned to Sarah at one point and I was like, "Can I just spend my entire life making stupid content like this? This is brilliant."
Yes. And it's got a cult following. It's got everything you need.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so wonderful. Yeah, highly recommend Darth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's actually making a comeback. They're talking about what they can do with that IP, even though it's been 20 freaking years.
Oh my
Check it out,
God.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's got Moss from the It Crowd or IT Crowd, whatever you want to call it. It's got Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows, whatever Barry, is it something Barry?
Matt
Matthew
Berry.
Barry?
Yeah,
Matt Berry.
Matt Berry.
I just love every single person in
It's
that.
insane.
Liz is amazing. The woman who
Unhinged.
plays Liz can just
Liz is the best
can just
part of
get
the whole
it.
thing. She's the best.
Highly
and
favored.
And
highly
I
loved.
showed you the picture, but it reminds me of my friend Charlotte so badly. They have like a
Mhm,
very similar,
mhm.
a very similar look and a very similar vibe. The Conjuring, I think for me was a little too much.
Yeah.
I don't love stuff like that. Like it was cool
Sure.
because it was based on a true story, and like that makes it even
Yeah.
like a creep factor even more. And I could look at Patrick Wilson all day long and his hair transplant all day long. And
Read her.
no shade, I've had 2.
No tea, no shade.
But like the film itself, I was just kind of like, okay, like this is scary. I get it. I fully understand why people are into this. For
Yeah.
me, that is not my vibe of horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what was my vibe of horror movie was The Shining, because
Oh my God.
that shit. Now, Sarah and I have been texting for days now about, like, she keeps sending me videos of like commentary on the film and like all the things, and it's fascinating. I love it. I literally had a 20-minute
so good.
conversation with my parents about it the other night. Neither of them have seen the film.
Oh,
And
it's
they're not
so
going
good.
to. It's not their kind of film. They're not going to do it.
Sure.
But it's just so, from a filmmaking perspective, it is so
Ugh.
brilliantly shot.
It's brilliant.
Like, and like
brilliant.
the following the boy on the bike around, and how that everything happens in threes. You only get to see that 3 times, but it feels like so much more because of the way it's shot. And I think the way that the reasoning for that was like not only to illustrate that he's just a kid and like whatever, trying to like make it through the day in the hotel, but to disorient you. And the thing that you sent me talking about how the layout of the hotel is insane and doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense on purpose. Yep.
And it totally fucks with you. And like the different scenes where like a chair is in the background and then it cuts back and the chair is gone, and it gives you this sense of unease, and like you don't ever really understand where you are in the hotel, which you know, with The Conjuring, like they do a very good job of like mapping out the house and where everything is, and you understand the lay of the land and where you're at. But in The Shining, you're like, I don't understand where these rooms are the whole time.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, there's a kitchen somewhere, and is it around the corner from the gold room? Like, is it down the hall? Like, I don't know.
And is Scatman Crothers gonna show up there? You know, you're like, where is he at? I love him. He's my favorite. Yeah, no, but I think that, you're so right. And one of the things I've seen these Shining, I'm gonna say probably like 15, maybe 20 times. Every time I do a rewatch, this is the other part. I notice something different. I think of something different. I'll be like, wait a minute, that was this hint at holy shit. You know, like, because I've always been like, the Grady's, so these are going to be spoilers, by the way. I'm going to go into spoiler territory
Right.
for those
So
who
if
haven't seen
so
the
if anyone hasn't
40-year-old
seen,
movie.
listen, that was me last week.
Shine.
I've never seen
I
it,
know.
so I think this is maybe an
I guess
appropriate
I'll
warning.
try to be as surfacey as I can. And then if I get into some interesting intricacies, I'll do it. But yeah, like you're saying, just from a surface area, like everything is a fucking maze. That's why they built the maze for the movie. The actual hotel has no maze. Kubrick had the maze built because he thought it was so important for us to illustrate how everything is a maze. Everything is being lost. Anything is sinister. You could get lost at any moment. We're getting lost. The audience is getting lost. I also loved the scene where, I mean, Jack Nicholson, peak performance, absolutely unhinged to the point of like, my God. Everybody's performances. I mean, across the board, the kid, Shelley
I mean,
Duvall,
Shelley
everybody's performance.
Duvall, her
Shelley
running, her
Duvall,
like running around like it was so weird. But
so
like,
weird, but yet it works because it's such a stylized film. I don't
yeah,
know. It just kind of works. And but yeah, to go back to the thing about the hotel. So there's something about the hotel that slowly as you watch the movie, you're discovering that the hotel is a living, breathing organism. It is alive. I don't think I've ever seen anything that felt, other than Sex in the City, where they're like, New York is my boyfriend, he's alive. Where like a location is so a part of the story to the point where it's fucking with us. The hotel is the cursed
I mean,
piece.
The
It is fucking with
Haunting.
us. Yes, The Haunting is exactly that. But
Yeah.
there's something about, I mean, this was made years before, but this is something about like,
Well, I was gonna say that
I don't know,
The Shining was probably the first to do it.
100%. It's like the first, I feel like, to where it's not just about the characters, it's about the characters being affected by a location and its curse. And
Yeah.
what does that mean? And getting into spoiler territory, I feel like I've said, I've seen this movie, I don't know how many times. I've dissected it. I've watched documentaries on it. It never quite hit me until I watched the sequel, which is Perfection, Dr. Sleep. Where Danny is now in the beginning, and I won't go further into the movie, but Danny starts from minute one as like an alcoholic. As a grown man, he's an alcoholic, and you can tell it's because he's numbing his shine. He doesn't want to see all this bullshit. He doesn't want to see the fucking spirits and things, and know something about a person, like that they're gonna die before they do, stuff like that. Like he does, he has the shine. But it just all the more makes sense that his father had the shining the whole time, which makes sense for his volatile personality, his numbing using substances, whether it's alcohol. The whole journey of his father's downfall coincides with his addiction and why. And it's like, oh my God, of course he can't concentrate, or he can't like do anything. He's been sober for too long, so he hasn't numbed the voices, so he's just slowly going insane. It's like a perfect storm of like, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, is because he's literally can't focus. Like he's hearing all the things he's been trying to get away with alcohol. And I don't think has the emotional intelligence that Danny has. I think it's a generational thing. Men of a certain age of that era, where they don't speak about their feelings or talk about it. It's just showing like someone with the shine and what that can do to someone with an addiction.
Well, and there's also
It's so brilliant.
that line that Shelley Duvall has where the doctor asks her about Danny, and she's like, "Oh, we don't talk about it, or we're not supposed to
Yeah.
talk about it," or something like that. And it's exactly what you're saying, like how men of a certain age of that generation, like that, you just didn't talk about things at all. It
Yeah.
was like the
Yeah. Because
stoicism.
exactly. And I think and what kills me is like this came out in 1981. Jack Nicholson now is 88. So this would be like they're around the age of like, are just younger than our grandparents a little bit, maybe, kind of in that zone. So it's older than even our dads. And it's like men of that age for sure, closed off. Like there's no way, someone with an artistic human who has a substance abuse problem and an anger problem is able to explain what's going on in his head and what he's seeing and what he's perceiving. And you're seeing that like lash out, and what that trauma does to Danny, what that trauma does to, his wife, Shelley, and
Yeah.
everything. It's fabulous. It's so interesting.
Understanding like the generational impact of like your father, your father's father, his father, etc.
Yeah.
And like I even think of people who are my dad's age. Shout out dad, biggest fan.
What up, Dad?
And
Big
like
fan.
how he definitely grew up in a house where you're not really able to talk about those things, for
Yeah,
sure.
so did my dad.
And I think to my parent and my mom as well, like, God forbid you talk about anything in that house. You are not meant to be heard. But like, I think to their credit, both of them intentionally and consciously made an environment within our house where we were allowed to, because they were
Yeah.
so like restricted and unable to, or whatever was impressed upon them to make them feel like they couldn't express themselves in certain
Right.
ways. And so again, like, to my parents' credit, they did create an environment where we could, and like that has
Absolutely.
impacted me positively as an adult. But that is certainly more unique situation than not, because
Right.
oftentimes like the Jack Nicholsons of the world pass on that to their kid, which then passes on to their kid. And it's really, you hear about the cycle of abuse. Well, that's exactly it right there. And abuse doesn't have to be
Right.
physical. It doesn't have to be like sexual abuse or anything. It's just like it's the impact of your behavior on someone else that could be interpreted as abusive. Now,
Yes.
Jack Nicholson in the
Yes.
film was an alcoholic and had anger problems, like you said.
Mhm.
And then how
Yeah.
funny or strategic and brilliant that in the sequel, Danny is a suppressed alcoholic who's crazy.
Yep. Yep. And I think that there's just something so sinister. And I honestly, the way it's shot, I could watch that 16 times. Just the way it's, like we've been talking about, the way it's shot, the way when he's going down the hallway and it's the on the carpet, like a heartbeat, like
Yeah.
a everything is alive, everything is sinister. It's like you can just feel it like the minute you walk in. God, that movie is so fucking good. It just blows my mind every time. Every time I see it, I'm like,
It's so
damn.
good.
And the room where the ball is, where the gala is happening, like, it's for that to be such an
What a
old
gorgeous
time.
room.
Yeah, and for that to be in a whole other era. And here is Jack Torrance seeing all of that and just accepting that he sees a past and just succumbing to his,
goes with
taking
it.
a drink. Yep. And that shows to me, that proves that's such a subtle hint that he has the shine and he knows that he's just seeing shit. And we're not going to be told. And I love the non-explaining of it all too.
Yeah.
That's not a hand holding movie. That movie does
No.
not hold your hand. No. And I love that.
Well, and we've talked about that before, about how there's so much power in showing your audience instead of telling them. Like, I feel like
Yes.
a lot of entertainment now treats their audience like they're idiots. And so they're like, and now let's explain this to you through some dialogue that we've shoehorned in here to make sure that you
Yes.
understand what we're going for. Stop doing that. Just show me. Like, The Shining is a classic for a reason. Whether you know how to articulate why or not doesn't matter. Like, I can watch that as like not a film buff and
Right.
pick up on things that are like, oh shit, that's that. And then of course the stuff that you send me to kind of break it down further is amazing. And this has become a Shining stan.
Yes, Shining Stan podcast.
Episode.
It's called. Yeah, we're shining.
We're
Well, I just think
shining that.
it's great. It's great. It's not a typical story. It's not a story that has ever at that point really been told. And I think to take something that Stephen King wrote, who's a genius horror boo-boo, but he cranks them out. And then to take somebody whose vision is so intense and iconic and so thoughtful as Stanley Kubrick's, and then put that together. I mean, I don't know how you could do any better. That's literally so fucking good.
Well,
So,
I will say that, like, again, whether someone realizes or not that they're being told good stories, I think that, to make a hard right here,
sure.
that this is now the modern day version of this. And I know you're on TikTok, but I don't know how active you are on TikTok.
Okay.
But there is now this thing going around that I'm completely obsessed with. And it's this food influencer. I think her name is Susie. And she did this video where she's like chopping up garlic to make some kind of pesto. And she's like, she like hits the garlic and she's like, call me crazy, but I just don't like store-bought pesto. And what has happened is people have stitched this video en masse. I made one myself, where they're like, oh my God, Susie, that is so crazy. It kind of reminds me of a time where, and then they tell the most unhinged story of things that have happened to
Oh,
them in their lifetime. It has become a
yes.
cultural moment where like
Wow.
people, there's someone who comments on every single one that's like, I'll never not watch a Susie Pesto stitch, or like
Wow.
it's become such a thing.
I love that.
It's so funny. Please go watch them. They're
I
so
am.
good.
Yes,
um
Susie Pesto.
but oh my god, hang on, sorry, I didn't put my do not disturb on, and now my computer is ringing at me.
Ew.
I
No,
hate it.
Susie Pesto Stitch. It kind of reminds me. It's not the same, but I love the really weird, almost avant-garde, grimace shake
Oh my
thing.
god,
Did you?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
yes,
really
yes.
got me. That got me so good. I was like, wait, why is oh my God, everyone's dead. As
That
soon
was
as you just they're
so,
like,
it was
I'm like,
such
this
a
is
bizarre
brilliant.
moment. But again, like this, it's just the way that we consume media and storytelling now in short form. And to tie this back to The Shining, it's like
Hmm.
you don't have to tell us everything, just show us. And actually the grimace trend is a much better example of this, because you watch
Yes.
it and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
And
And
they're
then
just
you
like,
kind of like pass through a couple of them and you're like, oh, I get it, it's a whole McDonald's thing.
I get
People are
that.
creating horror movies
Yeah.
out of the grimace shake for his birthday. Cool.
Yes.
But like
Well, that's
that's
the
such a
thing. The
good
hard
example of
cuts.
show. Yeah, show don't tell. Show don't tell.
like like
We love.
only Stanley Kubrick would do. I mean, you haven't seen 2001: The Space Odyssey, but there's a hard cut where it's literally a prehistoric being throwing a bone in the air, and then it starts to come down to land, and then we're on a spaceship, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, that's what I mean. It's the
Listen,
daring
I
to
saw
just be
Barbie.
like,
I know how that
cut.
scene goes.
Yeah, you get it. You've seen Barbie. Yeah.
I ain't got
By the way, Barbie is
it.
great. But Stanley Kubrick is everything. And I just think, yeah, again, it's just such a really, I love that we finished up with that. And I love that it really puts me in a hole of just like, more, please. I love you.
I
It's
know.
so
Well,
eyes wide shut. Everything about it.
I texted this. This is kind of Halloween related
Hmm.
as well, even
Hmm.
though by the time this comes out, we'll be Thanksgiving territory.
Whatever. We're still scared. The world's
It's fine.
scary. Keep
It's
going.
fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I texted you about this the other night. Why women kill. I remember
Yeah.
when this ad campaign came out, and like the bus stop signs had like pictures of like, I think it was Lucy Liu and a couple other people, and like, why women kill, and it was very housewifey, apple pie with a knife, and it's like whatever. And at first I thought it was a documentary, and so I just kind of wrote it off because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch that. Like, I'll put that on, file that away on
Yeah.
the back burner of documentaries that I want to watch and come back to it later.
Hmm.
But for whatever reason, the other night I was perusing the streamers and I saw Lucy Liu and I saw the show and I was like, oh, I remember that. So I decided to watch it. And holy shit, the way that is a perfect example of show don't tell. It
Great.
is three women in three
Good.
different time periods living in the same house, experiencing a very similar thing. It's like marital relationship dynamics. And then
Wow.
people who have been killed in that house. And it's like
Lit.
the passing of the key to the house. And like that's how
Hmm.
the last episode is like, how did all these people end up in this house? And so you see the person from the 60s passing the keys on to the people who are in the 70s or the 80s, and then
Okay.
passing that on to the people who are in modern day. And Lucy Liu plays this like fabulous, like fashion obsessed, 3 times divorced or 3 times married woman who is married to this
Work.
British guy who ends up being gay and like whatever, and she's having an affair with an
Yeah.
18-year-old who's the son of her
Oh,
her best
okay.
friend neighbor. It's wonderful.
What
But
year is she in?
she's in the 70s and 80s, so she has like
Oh, I was
the
gonna say, I
big
hope she's like
hair.
the OG.
Yeah, she has the big
Good.
hair and the eye makeup and everything. But her and not just her, but every single one is so perfectly intricately woven within the fabric
Mm.
of each story, to the point that in the
Yeah.
last episode the 3 murders are happening at the same time on the screen, and they're all overlaid so that like the
Oh,
actor from the 60s is walking past the person from the 90s or the current modern day, and like this murder is happening over here while this one's happening up here and this is happening over in the next room. It is, I think, one of the best pieces of television I've ever seen, because not
work.
only is it camp and ridiculous,
Yes, we love that.
but it's and funny, but it's just so well done. And I'm confused why there's only 2 seasons. Like
Yeah, I hate
that to
that.
me should have been so many more. I just started the first episode of the 2nd season last night, and not as grabbing as the first one, but
Okay.
it's a different color palette. It's in the 40s, so
Yeah.
everything is like very brown and
Oh,
maroon
oof.
and like
Yeah.
tan, whereas the other one was very colorful. Like it was the Technicolor of the
Yeah.
60s. It was like
Vibrance.
the
Yeah.
neon of the 80s.
The vibrancy of it all. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I
Yeah.
loved it. And it was
There's
it's
a
the guy
technique
from
they used.
it's the guy from
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Veep, like the douchey guy from Veep.
Oh, work.
Yeah, he's one of the
Okay, great.
husbands. It's so good.
I love that. Well, there's yeah, that I love stuff like that. Even X, you know, and Pearl. By the way, you'd like Pearl. I don't know if you'd like X, but they come together. There's a scene in X where they're making a porn, and while they're showing the porn footage. And while they're showing the porn footage, they're also showing a fucked up scene of like while that's happening. So it's two really intense scenes happening, but they're very different. And it's very like, I love cuts like that where they're just like, they're not doing very linear stuff. They're doing more like experimental, kind of like how our minds work, to be honest.
Yeah,
Not hand holding. So
none of
yeah,
it.
love it.
Don't
None of it. Don't
tell
hold my
me.
hand. Don't you
Don't tell
dare
me.
hold
Show
my
me.
hand.
Don't hold my hand.
Love that for us.
Anyway,
Love that.
well,
Yeah.
that's what's going on in TV land for me.
Yeah.
Are you watching anything brilliant right now?
We're just kind of catching up with all the stuff we wanted to watch for the spooky season, and now we're going to switch over into holiday realness. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh my God, we love holiday. Okay, so because when this comes out, it's going to be Thanksgiving land. Do you have a Thanksgiving film that you like and appreciate?
There really isn't a Thanksgiving movie except for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's one. And we've decided in this household, and this is going to be a hot take, so everybody just calm down. The Nightmare Before Christmas is about Halloween and it's about Christmas, but what's in the middle? Thanksgiving. And that's where I watch it. I watch it on Thanksgiving.
I agree with you. I think that's the perfect transitional movie. And we actually talked about this in the Halloween podcast as well.
Because it's great. It's perfect. You can watch it any day, but I think that's a good time to watch it.
I completely agree. It's the perfect transition from Halloween to Christmas. It's perfect. Also, we now have Mariah Carey like launching her defrosting into the Christmas season. She's I mean, I love that she started this last year. I think last year this was the first time that she did the whole "it's time," and she like comes out of it. This year, there's I don't know if you saw this, but her TikTok and Instagram is her and a giant ice cube, and they're blow drying it so that it cracks and freezes, and then she sings her high note and it breaks, and she's there in her Christmas shit. I am just obsessed that we kind of do that. We like put her on ice for a year. And then she comes out, she trots herself out, makes a couple million during All
I Want for Christmas.
All I Want for Christmas. We see her until about January 1st, and then she ducks away for another 11 months. It's just how
we love. Love a queen who knows, like, who gets it. She's just like, fine, you want me to be that Christmas bitch who slays the house? Yeah, I'm coming out. Welcome. I love it. It's my season. It's my season now. Holiday.
Yeah.
No, I live for her. I live for every bit of it. And yeah, I think like, and there's also a horror film coming out called Thanksgiving, which I'll definitely go see in theaters.
Oh, okay.
It's a guy in a weird, creepy pilgrim mask, like stalking people in a small town during Thanksgiving.
Oh,
and I just think I'll love it.
I've seen the preview for this.
Yeah, because it's stupid. It's going to be so fucking
weird.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
it's dumb as fuck.
It's definitely along the lines of like stupid camp horror.
Yeah,
which I think I like the best. Actually, I have a question for you, not to harp on the horror too much, because I would love to transition into holiday talk. I've never seen, and that's TALK, not TOK, because I'm sure holiday TikTok is the thing. But I just saw a clip on TikTok the other night from Scream, and I realized I've never seen that either. And it's Drew Barrymore like flitting around the house with the phone, crying hysterically. Like just very
the call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah. And like
it's perfect.
I didn't know that she died in that movie.
Oh yeah, right away.
Because they showed that she's dead. And I was like, what?
Oh, she's strung up by her intestines. She did. Yeah. Right away.
I did not know that. I thought that she was like the star of the show and she made it out alive.
Nope, that's Neve Campbell, baby.
God,
Mm,
what a
that's Nev Cam.
what a queen, and how sad that
Yeah.
she's at where she's at. Just the whole MS
Yeah.
of it all. Like,
Oh no, that's Selma Blair.
oh my God, you're right. I'm confusing them.
Yeah, you're fine. We do this sometimes. This is the podcast. Sarah goes, no, that's but you're right, but not about
Yes,
her.
but not
Yeah,
about
yeah,
her.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Why
Yeah, they
do I
all look
do
alike,
that?
white bitches. It's fine.
Well, but also like 90s like
90s
icons.
dark-haired mavens.
Yeah.
Sorry. But no, but it's that Selma Blair, even though I love her too. But Nev Campbell's is the Scream Queen. But yeah, they're different. But they're great. They're both great.
Oh, right, because she was in the Craft.
Yeah, so that's also such a good movie if you
So
haven't seen
that's
that.
one of
That's
my
some
favorite
witchy shit.
movies.
Yeah. Okay, good. Do you
Yeah.
like what about Practical Magic? I can't believe we haven't watched that or talked about it.
Never saw it.
Huh?
I know, Nicole Kidman. Hello.
And Sandra Bullock being
And
hot.
Sandra Bullock.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Being witches, being sister witches. Are you out of your freaking mind? We should be watching this right now. What are we doing? Why are we even on here?
I don't
What's
know.
going on here? It reminds me of like Death Becomes Her kind of humor.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen Death Becomes Her, go watch it.
It's being made as a musical right now.
Oh, that's right. Oh
with
my gosh.
with Megan Hilty.
Okay.
Complete subject change, but I just got an email from the place that I had the executive level job interviews, and it was like a thank you so much for your time and whatever, but we're rejecting you. And I was like, I knew this.
LOL.
Like, why are you sending this to me now?
Yeah, like thanks for rubbing it in. I have another job
Right.
though, so
Thank you
I
for the
don't really care.
reminder. Right. I was worried that it was going to be like, we've decided to move forward with you, and I'd have to be like,
And you're like,
ooh, you know that boat you missed? It's right over
yeah,
here.
I'm on it. Yeah.
I'm on it.
No, I think
Hi.
that's one of those things where you're like, new phone, who this? New email address, who this?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who are you?
Yeah. Oh my God. Can I just
kidding.
tell
You
you
keep it cordial and
how-
sweet.
100%. But can I just tell you how glad I am to like not be looking for a job anymore?
Oh my God. Yeah. We need to acknowledge this because this has been something you've been going through since May.
It's November.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time. We are frazzled.
Yeah.
Our feelings are hurt, but
We're still here.
we're still here.
And we're fabulous. And
We are
can't hide it.
fabulous.
No, but you got a 401k, you got health care, you got a paycheck, you got things coming your way.
I have things coming my way.
Stability,
I thought you said
abundance.
I thought you said disability, and I was like, also that.
No. But also, no.
Actually, this funny story. My mom and I had a discussion about this too. You know, on the self-identifying pages that you fill out where you're like, I'm not a veteran, I'm a citizen, I don't require a visa. In the disability section, cancer is listed. And so whenever I fill something out, I have to say yes. And it feels so weird being like, because it's like, do you now or have you ever had any of these things? And like, I have to say yes. So in all these job applications, I'm like, yep, I'm disabled.
That's so
Sorry.
crazy.
I know, it's crazy. And I understand why they do it, because like for a while you're not able to work, you're not able to do anything. And depending on your prognosis after the fact, like you might not be able to do anything for a while. And if you've had things removed because of surgeries, or you're like diminished for whatever reason, sure, fine.
Sure.
Totally.
Sure.
But
like
also,
forever, it's like you're wearing a Scarlet C.
Yeah, it is.
It's for cunt. Yeah.
It's for cunt. I had the big C, which stands for
see you next Tuesday, cunt.
See you next Tuesday.
No, see, but no, you know what? I feel like that makes more sense than the divorce shit. I'll be filling out. I just don't say it anymore.
Right. We talked.
I'll be filling out a doctor's thing, and they're just like single, married, divorced.
Separated.
Partnered living with. I was like, what else do you need to know? What else are you trying to figure out? Like what? And also my thing is like, why am I divorced for the rest of my life until something different happens? How about I'm just me again? How about that? I've been me. How about I was me and now I'm me again? I'm still me. Weird. What does my divorce have to do with my capabilities of my medical stuff, of my data? I don't fucking get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. But also we know that things here are some fuckery. So
some fuckery. Well, I think I can imagine, you know, if you're, let's just say you're still in someone's health care, or like some people that were once married stay on each other's health plan until it splits and the deed is done. But ours was at lightning speed. I got away. I was like, severed, never knew. And like, so I don't need to be saying that. There's no reason for me to like sign that on a form. That doesn't affect me at all. Like, what are you doing? You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm now reveling in it because I'm gonna walk into that place and they're gonna be like, "What?"
My
Like,
God. I thought it was going to be a cunt, but it's a man.
but it's a man, same thing. Um,
It's a man.
That's a man
It's a
standing by
man.
your man.
No, but I think that is interesting. But I think we need to also just take a moment to celebrate that you have been
Doing the
in this
hustle.
hateration, holleration, in this dancery, and now you've made it. So
How dare you?
I hate
Oh
it.
my
It's
God,
so
I'm
stupid.
choking.
Yeah. Oh, don't choke. Don't. I mean, not, you know, on you know, on recording.
On a piece of rice.
No, piece of rice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Holidays. What are you doing for
that's
the holidays? Do you even know what's happening? Like, what are you doing? So we're gonna talk about Thanksgiving now. Let's give it up for tea day, turkey
let's give it
day,
up for the tea
rather,
day.
you know.
Sure. So I don't really know. Holidays have gotten a little. So every year for Thanksgiving, when I come home, my dad will order from this place that does
Work.
like a full catered Thanksgiving situation. We've
We
only
do
been
the
doing
same
it for a
damn
couple
thing.
years. Yeah, we've only been doing it for a couple years, but it's just like it's a my dad calls it the microwave extravaganza, and it's just the best food, and it's so
The
easy.
best.
Cleanup is easy. There's always leftovers. It's great. This year, my dad went to order, and they were sold out already, and so we are not doing that this year.
Oh no.
So we're gonna go home. I told my mom, I was like, "Do you want me to make anything? Do you want me to bring anything?" And of course, she's like, "No." I was like, "I'll make my bread. I'll make my bread, whether I bring it home already made or I
Make
make
your
it at
bread.
home. I'm gonna make the bread."
You are making the bread.
I am making the
Yeah.
bread.
Making the
She
bread.
breaded, but
She breaded.
it's kind of the holidays have been kind of a little disjointed, only because you know, both my sisters are married. My little sister lives 1,200 miles away. My grandfathers are dead. And
Right.
you know, it makes me a little sad because my older sister doesn't spend Christmas with us. She spends it with her husband's family, which I hate. Because to me, like and it's completely triggering for me. It's on me. I accept responsibility for this because
Sure.
I was never around for Christmas because I was always somewhere doing a Christmas show. And so I would miss Christmas.
Oh.
So then my thought was always, I get to come home after doing the show and see my family and spend Christmas with them. And it was a togetherness thing. And then
Yeah.
after she got married, that stopped. And so it was like, why am I even coming home? Like, I can come see my parents anytime. Like, I come home for the family
Her
component.
and them, the
And
fam.
it's just had
Yeah.
to be, it had to become something that I've just gotten over, even though I'm not really
Yeah.
over it. It still annoys the shit out of me, but like, it's not something that I will make a big deal about anymore.
Right.
Because what's the point? So
Yeah.
it's kind of become not a thing, not much of a thing. I know Thanksgiving we usually do at the house with as much family as we can get in. It's always a little sad because my little sister can't always make it up. You know, and she also just started a fabulous new job, so I don't know what her flexibility on that is going to be.
Yeah.
And same with me. So, you know, I think we're just kind of like, my family's not terribly religious at all anymore.
No.
Thank God. Thank God we got out of that cult shit. But so holidays are more about family togetherness other than like going to church and giving gifts and everything. And
Yeah.
we can do that anytime. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like a whatever it will be, and we'll make it work.
Yep. And I think that's a
What
healthy way to
about
look at it. Well,
you, my darling?
we're having a big old, because we did Christmas in New York last year. My family came up. Things happened though. My dad got influenza B and never saw anyone except for the first night.
Oh no.
Anyway, we love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, Dad. But my mom was out and about the whole time, and she had the best. Her birthday's Christmas Eve, so we took her to Little Italy, and they sang to her, and she lived her best life. She was giving. It was her
Aw.
favorite. Yeah, but I think we know this year everyone's coming down to my parents' house in Virginia, and we're gonna have a big old Thanksgiving down there. We're gonna it's not that, and we're gonna I'm
And
just
deep
kidding. My family
fried
is not
turkey and
nobody talks like that in my family at all. Because they're all from Pittsburgh or Maryland. Everybody, my dad's from Baltimore, my mom's from Pittsburgh, so it's like no one's like actually Southern, but they've lived there for like decades now, so it's like it is what it is.
yeah.
So we're gonna do all the fun Richmond-y things because it's such a hipster, cool city, and they have like a lot of random shit to do. So they're gonna come down. We got our Thanksgiving catered. We have a vegan version, full meal, and a
Love.
non-vegan. I love some of my apps that are family recipes that I can do, even though I don't eat half of them because I can't, but I make them because I love it. And then like Thanksgiving Day is just like, let's put the TV on and have like the parade going on in the morning. Then it's football in the afternoon. And then it's just get lit and eat all day. Like just get lit and eat.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
sit on the back porch, do your thing.
I forgot
Take a
about the
couple
parade.
shots.
My mom loves the parade. She
Oh
watches the
yeah, we love a
parade.
parade. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love the parade. And so she'll watch
Yeah.
that. And my dad will usually watch about half of it. And then I think because we're not, maybe I'll suggest this to them, but like what you're saying about like making all the apps and the food and the things because it's fun. I think maybe that's what's this year is just going to be. It's probably just going to be me, my
Yeah.
mom, and dad. My older sister will probably come up the day of, but probably not the day
Mhm.
before, which is when I hope to be there. And I just want to like cook with them all day and like be in the
Do it.
kitchen and like, because it's always like, oh, I'll just get out of your way. I don't want to be in the way. I'm going to be in the way this year. I'm going to make
Be
sure
in the
that
fucking way
I'm going
and
to
have
be in the
a glass
fucking
of
way.
wine while you do it. Yeah.
We're all just going to get shit faced, tanked, hammered. I'll bring the wine home.
Yeah, like this turkey is roasted, bitch.
Right.
Yeah,
This
no, but
turkey is done.
so we're also doing like, what also helped me, like, cause get over the holiday bluesies is like, what are fun things we can do that are local to our area? I know you guys are like in the woodsy woods, but there's
Yeah.
got to be something because what we found is that so we're doing that and then we're gonna have brunch the next morning on the water with the lake and the boats house at the boathouse, like cool little festive brunch.
Oh my God, that
It'll
sounds
be
so nice.
It'll be decorated for the holidays. We wanted to rent a pontoon boat, but we couldn't find a captain who would be willing to charter it on the day after Thanksgiving when we get that. So we just like allowed, fine, we'll be at the docks and just see the boats and just have a brunch. And then we're going to go downtown to Carey Street, which is a little shopping district in Richmond, and do some window shopping, like, some good old, what is it? Friday after, it's like Black Friday, but not really because every day is a
Yeah.
sale on Amazon. But, just go to the little stores, get our zhuzh. And then Saturday before they head back, me and Michael stay longer, come earlier, stay longer, because we might do like all sorts of crazy Virginia stuff while we're down there. We're going to go to the Jefferson, which is one of Jefferson's old estates, and do a high tea before they go.
Amazing. Oh my God.
It's so much fun. So we're going to do that. So that's what I mean. Like we had nothing to, I was like, and my mom's been fabulous she's excited. Like she's so glad to host. We haven't really been able to host in their new house too much stuff. And because they built it during COVID and well, but I feel, but I feel like it is, it's really important to just make your own new, things and make that happen. I've heard people that are like, I'm bummed by the holidays. A lot of people can't make it. We're just going to go on a trip. You know what I mean? Like there's things we can do. There's things like listen, I don't know what's going to happen with Christmas because I was supposed to be headed to Egypt and the Middle East is on fire. So I have no idea what I'm going to do there. So it's okay.
Maybe don't go there.
Yeah, maybe not. So we might do a Christmas in Japan kind of situation. So we're going to see what we want to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But also New York is amazing in Christmas. Why be anyone else?
Honestly, my parents and I have talked about them coming up here for Christmas. They came up here for Christmas right before COVID. They came up here in January, first week of January, 2020, and we went and saw Yiddish Fiddler because I had a bunch of friends.
Oh, of course.
Bobby.
Yeah.
We went to a restaurant afterwards, and then like later, I think either it was that day or maybe the next day, we like walked around. I took him to see the tree at Rockefeller Center, which they'd never seen before, which is dumb because I lived here my entire adult life. And yeah, we just did like touristy fun Christmassy things. I took him to the shops at Bryant Park and we walked around Bryant Park, which
you need to take them.
That is my favorite.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt,
Yeah.
but that is my favorite part of Christmas in New York are the Christmas villages that they put up at Central Park South, Bryant Park, and Union Square. they make my
Yeah.
life. I won't even go buy anything, but I will go walk through them because there's something about it that is so like wholesome and hopeful and beautiful. And I think it's one of my top favorite things about the city.
I agree. And I also want to put head to Bergdorf Goodman, head to the tchotchke floor, and it's just fucking ornaments, organza, the house. And it's got a little
Oh
tea
my
parlor.
God.
Oh my God, we need to go. It's so festive.
Okay.
Me and Alicia Fuss, that's our church. We call it Bergdorf's. That's our church. So fashion and tea and tchotchkes.
The former Vanderbilt home known as Bergdorf
Oh,
Goodman.
truly. Well, I
Woof.
have to go because we have a exterminator just came because that's our monthly. Of course, it's happening right at the same time.
Of
I
course.
forgot we signed up for it. We're actually good, but we signed up for it. But I love thee. This is we're heading into the festive holiday season. I like that we kept it spooky, ooky, kooky, and then headed into
And
the
then transitioned.
festivities. And
And listen,
congrats on your job.
Thank you. And we're going to have so much more festive holiday shit coming up soon because let me tell
Yes.
you what a whore and a half for Christmas I am.
I'm a slut for Christmas.
Slut. So
Slut.
brace yourselves. I will be spreading my stocking covered Santa legs for Christmas this year, and you're gonna get
Mhm.
the waftiness of it all. It's
The
just gonna
holiday
happen.
market is
Get
me and it's
ready.
open, bitch.
We should do an episode
Yeah.
from the holiday market. We should go to
Let's
the
do
holiday
it.
market and do an episode.
We should do an episode out there, and then we should do an episode inside Bergdorf's on the tchotchke floor, right by the Christmas trees.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I love you guys. Thanks for joining us for I Want to Be a Rich Bitch. Honestly, Ed's on his way to be one. So am I. So it's
Let's do
working.
it. It's working.
Let's do it.
Let's
Put
do
the
it.
money on the table.
You're so rich.
Pay me.